Diff series, which means we are taking a look at a few habits or things that will help us be the Diff way after graduation, our whole lives, not just till we're 12th graders. And so last week's recap was we took a look at being in our Bible, what that means. Can we trust it? Where do we start? What do we do? And so your homework was to start a YouVersion plan based on any topic that was interesting to you. And I saw a ton of you do it. I'm so impressed. I'm literally like screenshotting all the time. Like, look, all of them are reading so much. So way to go. But the next pop quiz then is who remembers last week's mantra. Every week in this series, we're doing a sentence we say over and over and over again until we're sick of it so we can make sure we remember it. What is our mantra about the Bible? Either you can trust it or you can't. So we need to make that decision and then either not base our life at all on it or completely base our life on it. So that was last week, but this week is friends. So every week we talk about what it is and what it isn't. And so what it is for us tonight is anyone around you that's influencing you. That's how we're going to find friends tonight. Anyone around you that's influencing you. So here's what it's not. It's not just people you like or people you choose. Because you don't choose your family, right? But they're still influencing you. And sometimes you don't like your coworkers or your classmates or your teammates, but they're still around you influencing you. And so everyone around you is helping you become who you're going to be. I've heard it said that friends are like elevator buttons. They either help you go up or they help you go down. And that is so true. A bunch of old people say this all the time. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You know why we say that all the time? Because it's true. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And so our mantra tonight is, we become who we hang out with. We become who we hang out with. Say that back. Awesome. So if that's true, we need to be smart and we need to be purposeful. And lucky for you guys, say lucky for me, there is a book of the Bible, a whole book, just about young people being smart and purposeful. How cool is that? It's called Proverbs. And as we take a look at what it says about being wise and purposeful in our friendships, I want you to just kind of pick a verse or two that you love because you're going to use it later in our practice time and in our homework time and all that stuff. So here's the first thing that this book about young people staying smart and purposeful says. Proverbs 13, walk with wise people and become wise. A companion of fools suffers harm. Kind of sounds like our mantra, right? What's our mantra? Gold star for whoever said that. We become who we hang out with. So it's saying, hang around wise people, you'll be wise. Hang around foolish people, and you will pay a price. You just will. Next thing that book about being a smart and purposeful teenager says, godly people are careful about the friends they choose, but the way of sinners leads them down the wrong path. Saying, you know what? Because we become who we hang out with, we need to be really careful where we're aiming ourselves, right? And this last verse for this section is your SOAP verse. So I always try to make it the shortest one, so you're welcome. But this is the one we want to memorize and think about and get in our heart and mind for later when we need it. It says this, 1 Corinthians 15, don't fool yourselves. Bad friends will destroy you. That is a sentence. Don't fool yourselves. You know why it says that? Because we fool ourselves in this area. We say, that won't matter. That's not a big deal. I'll only do it once. No big problem. Don't fool yourself. Bad friends will destroy you. Another version says, bad company corrupts good character. So you can start out really great, but who you hang out with affects you. We become who we hang out with. And the Bible's pretty clear that who we choose to have around us will influence us in very significant ways. Most of the time, without us even knowing. We don't really make friends, they make us. Think about that. Because why? Tell me our mantra one more time. So close, but no. We become who we hang out with. We become who we hang out with. I thought we'd get better every week. I really think we're getting worse. We can work on it for next week. Okay. You have seen this play out time and time again, either in your life or your friend's life, right? There's either one of two things happens with friendships and influences. Either there's this slow fade into not so great stuff that affects someone's life in eternity, and you can just watch it. You can see it a mile away where this friend is headed. Or if you're surrounded by awesome friends, there's not a slow fade, there's a regular growth where you become more and more of an awesome teenager that has more stability and more peace and more joy. It is one or the other. Because, tell me why. Nice, that was so good. The live stream audience will be very proud of you. Okay, so we always talk about what it is, what it's not, and then how to do it, right? So here's how to do it. Are any of you wondering, how do I have good influences in my life? I'm about to tell you. Number one, be choosy. Be choosy. If who we hang out with determines who we are, we need to be choosy. And they say that say me, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. So think about the 5 people. Don't tell me their names and don't nudge your neighbor, but think about those 5 people. And you're the average of them, right? So every time you get more quality people making good choices around you, you're upping your game because you're the average of the 5, right? So it's important to be choosy. This quote just rocked my world. And I had to put it in tonight's message. It says this: when it comes to salvation, it's true that others can't get you in, but they sure seem to play an important role in keeping you in. That's so true. Salvation is a decision you make on your own, but then after that, how do you stay aimed in the right direction and not fall for the things that people fall for that destroy them? By being choosy. But sometimes it's really, really hard to do that. Because at some point you will choose between being lonely and having good influences. You will have to say yes to what other people say no to, and no to what everyone else is saying yes to. But be choosy. It will be worth it. This is the second verse or quote that rocked my world, getting ready for this message. Here's what it says. At some point, every teenager will have to choose between their friends and their beliefs. Ever been there? Yep. Choose between your friends and their beliefs. Who's going to win? Many 16-year-olds have the power to out-influence God. You got to be choosy. Who's in your head? Who's in your life? Who's around you? That's the bad news. Here's the good news. The Bible is so good for good news. And we're back to Proverbs, the book for young people to help them be smart and purposeful. A person with unfaithful friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Look at the first sentence. Over and over and over again, the Bible's telling us this. You will pay a price. You will come to ruin. You will be destroyed. You will have negative consequences if you don't guard your friendships. Please hear me on this. That's what the Bible's saying. But then it says, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So I've got good news for you guys. Because if you're that teenager who is always saying yes when other people say no, and no when other people say yes, and you stay home and are lonely instead of making bad decisions, please take this verse. Integrity will win, and God will give you that friend. Just stay focused on who you want to be and be choosy. He designed godly friendships for a reason. He's not going to withhold them for you forever. My daughter did this in high school. Just struggled with being the one who couldn't do this or that, or didn't have that friend to lift her up. Just friends that are going to drag her down. And she just stayed focused on what God had for her and who she wanted to be and making the hard decisions. And in college, he blessed her with the most amazing friendships. They live together to this day after graduation because they're the friends the Bible is talking about. because she trusted God and she waited and she made the right decisions and she aimed herself well and she kept the 5 who they needed to be. So number 1, be choosy. Here's how else you do it. Be loving. This is the number 1 question I get asked as a pastor about friendships. How do I know how to love people that aren't living for God without having them pull me down but not being judgmental? I don't know how to do that. What do I do? Can I go to that party and not drink? Should I unfollow that friend because what they're showing on their Instagram is hurting my eyeballs and my soul? Should I get rid of that toxic person, or is that just rude to ghost them? How do I know what to do? Here's your answer. And our mantra answers it for us. Which way is the influence going? That's your answer. Ask yourself. If you're asking yourself or me or one of your leaders any of those questions, can I, should I, what do I, how do I reach a generation without letting it pull me down? Ask yourself, which way is the influence going? Are you making them more like God, or are they distracting you from God? That's your answer. That's your decision making. So be loving. You don't have to ghost people. Be loving as you're choosy. And last way to do friendships well, let them be honest. A biblical friend is someone who comforts you when you're down and confronts you when you're wrong. Let them be honest. Let them speak into your life. Let them call you on your stuff. Don't run away. Don't excommunicate them. Don't block them. If they're godly friends saying, I see this in your life and it concerns me, then listen. Here's what Proverbs, ding, 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 says about this. You can trust a friend who corrects you, but kisses from an enemy are nothing but lies. So that's saying, 1 million people will flatter you, but it's a true friend who'll say, let's get real for a second. I'm worried about you. Let them be honest. So that's how you're going to do it. Be choosy, be loving, let them be honest. So now we get talking about what to watch out for. I have 2 big things to watch out for. But first, remind me of our mantra. We become who we hang out with. So here's what we're going to watch out for. Ignoring red flags. Watch out for that. If a friend is gossiping to you all the time about other people, let me promise you, they're gossiping about you to those same people. That's a red flag. If a friend is always in really bad environments and they're like, I'm just not tempted, so it's fine. Not the wisest thing. Red flag. Or how about that boyfriend who loses his temper all the time with his mom? Girl, that's you next. That's a red flag. Don't ignore them. They don't get better with time, they get worse. Don't ignore red flags. All right, number 2 thing to watch out for. Watch out for loving them in a way that hurts you. That is my favorite definition of boundaries. When I can love you and me at the same time. You do not have to lose your salvation to get someone else theirs. You just don't. You don't have to make stupid decisions just so someone else won't feel bad. You do not have to lower your standards because your greatness makes someone else feel uncomfortable. You're supposed to be a city on a hill. You're supposed to let your light shine. And that person will know where to go when they're ready. Whether it's a month from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They'll say, you know what? I noticed that you always were okay. You had hope and joy. And you said it was because you're God, and I'm really struggling right now. Can you help me? They'll know where to go when they're ready. If you love them in a way that doesn't destroy you. No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. This is true. So if one of your friends is doing that, and you feel like you have to apologize for making good decisions and better decisions, then you need some better boundaries. You're going to do your job as a friend, and they're going to let God do his. So that's it. That's Being the Diff, Friendship Edition. What it is, what it isn't, what to do, what to watch out for. We become who we hang out with. So we need to make sure we're aiming ourselves where we want to go. What's our mantra for tonight? Thank you. You're very fast, Monet. Okay, so just like every week, we are going to take some time for question and answers. Anyone can ask and anyone can answer. So it's not just 50 people asking me. There's a lot of wisdom in this room. So what do you guys have for questions about friendships? Anything I've said tonight or any experiences that you've had where you're like, what do you do? And we have the mic coming around because we want the live stream audience to be able to hear us. So flag Jerusha down if you have a question. And if you don't, ask one anyway, so I'm not standing up here like a weirdo. What questions do you have about friendships?
How do you know if someone's a good or bad friend?
Well, let's look back at my notes. Which way is the influence going? Are you making them better or are they making you worse? No, literally answer that for that friend in your head. Like right now in time, which one is it? They're making you worse? Okay, so you need a different boundary. Do you ghost them? Are you mean to them? No. Because I said be choosy, but be loving. So find a way where you can love them without them dragging you down. Ellie?
Okay, so a real friend is someone who sticks up for you. I learned that along the way. I had some friends a few years ago who wouldn't stick up for me for anything and wouldn't protect me from anything. And so if they're just like not there for you or they don't show signs of interest or they're just like peer pressuring you to do something, then they're probably a bad influence. And also, it's okay to love them from afar. It's okay to get yourself out of the situation. Yes. I thought it would be so rude, like, to just ditch them, because they made me feel like I was their, like, they were my only friends. Obviously, that wasn't true. But yeah, it's okay to love them from afar. It's okay to set boundaries and say, like, not be too close to them.
See, can you help us understand that? Because that's kind of the point of my message, but it's so hard to figure out that line, that balance. So how did you love them from afar?
Well, I still kept in contact with them, but I went and I had a few other friends, and I just grew closer to the people who would make me better, and I found the people who would make me a better influence, and I grew closer to them. I mean, I still kept in contact with them. I would still, like, hang out with them, but, like, just a little less than I used to.
That's good. So you figured out how to love them in a way that you can still love you, right? So you upped your game as far as who you were surrounding yourself with and still loved the world. So good. So wise. So purposeful. All right, good. What other questions do you have about friends or anything I said tonight? Learn from each other, guys. What do you guys got?
Okay, what if your friends seem good for you, like, sometimes, and then other times they seem bad for you?
Same answer. Which way is the influence going? So when they're making you bad, then that's the time when you start loving more from afar and drawing boundaries about time or access. You're not like, I'm better than you, and Jesus doesn't want me to have you as a friend. Because I said be loving, be choosy, and then be loving. But then when they aren't dragging you down and you can be around them in a way that you're building them up, then that's always the question. Which way is the influence going? It's going the right way. I can lean in a little more. It's going the wrong way. I need to lean back. Does that answer your question? Did you have something, Nicholas?
It's kind of all like a balancing act is what I've found out. Like, you got to balance your good friends from your bad friends, and most of the time for me, my good friends have to outweigh the bad.
That's good. I see you.
So I was also friends with a person like that, and what I found out is it's a manipulation trick. it's they can take their anger out on you, but when they sense that you're going to leave, they have to be nice because you're the only person that won't tell anybody because you're their friend. And so it's all a manipulation act and try to, so they can use you to express how they're feeling, but, because that's their way of, I don't know,
keeping you around.
Yeah. Well, it's also, their way to let out, aggression and all their emotions out on you, but they're worried that you're going to leave and they won't have that, so they're going to manipulate you and try to make you to stay.
So love them in a way that you can still love yourself. Mm-hmm. That's good. Nate, what did you have?
When you do have good friends, how do you balance staying in contact with them when you make new friends, I guess?
I want a teenager to answer this. Ellie seems to be the friend guru, but I would love to hear from other people also. How have you done that in the past? Go ahead.
Okay, I used to go to this old school, right? And I had a friend named, we're going to call her Sarah. Sarah was homeschooled, and I moved to a different school because COVID and stuff. She was homeschooled, and I met Maddie, which is a newer friend. And I would say, she doesn't have a phone, so it's kind of hard to contact her, but her mom and my mom are friends on Facebook, and so, we still, hang out. And, we still get to see each other even though we live far away. We can still see each other. And also, I have a friend who lives 4 hours away, and we call each other almost every day. And so, I guess, they won't be mad at you. If you're thinking they'll be mad at you for making new friends, they want, if they're a really good friend, they would want you to have new friends and be happy. And if they're a good friend, then they would want to grow their friendship and be friends with your friends and not have you all to themselves.
Alex has something for this. Is this a new question or? Okay, so what else can we tell Nate about this? Gabe, do you have something?
Something that I learned was that you can't expect them to reach out to you. You have to try to have your own take your own initiative and reach out to them first and set up something, or if they live far away, you can just talk on the phone, or maybe make something later on if you ever get together. You have to take your own initiative. That's kind of my.
Are you saying be smart and purposeful?
Yeah.
Weird.
That's what I was gonna say. You got to be intentional with your time. Sometimes it could just be just a text, right? Or who was it? You, I guess. Sorry, I thought it was your brother. Anyways, be intentional and send a text, you know? Who was the... Oh, thank you.
What do you do if you don't have any friends?
What?
Well, I hope you're asking theoretically because you have a ton of friends. People
Down,
love
Satan.
hanging out with you. You're hilarious and loving and generous. But seriously, if you feel that way, the best thing you can do is not concentrate on finding a friend, but being a friend. That's what'll do it. Wow, that's
a
exciting.
mic drop moment.
I don't know what that was about, but thanks. All right, last question / comment, because we have other amazing things to do tonight.
You guys have to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh, if Chris Harold would let me drop this mic, I'd do it.
Right? I'm not ready.
Say it again, Nicholas.
You have to get out of your comfort zone.
You have to get out of your comfort zone. Thank you. Okay. So every week after we talk about it and learn about it and ask each other questions, we always have a time of practicing whatever that is. So we practice praying. We practice reading our Bible. We figured out what ministry teams we want to be on. So this is a little different tonight because how do you practice friends, right? Here's how you're going to do it. We're going to give you a little bit of a response time before worship, and you're going to do anything with that time you want about friends. Shh. So you can pray about a friend. You can talk to God about friends in your life. Are any of them toxic? Do you need to do anything? Are you lonely? Talk to God about that. Do you need to text someone? Do you need to invite someone somewhere? Do you need to send a friend a verse and say, let's be accountability partners? Like any way that you need to figure out what God has for you with your friendships and as a friend, you're going to take this time to figure that out. You can do something with a friend digitally or talk to God about it spiritually, but you're just going to take this time to apply something from the message to your life. So a song is going to play. We're just going to take some time anywhere you want in this room to just figure out what God has for you about friendships, and then we're going to worship. So we are going to say goodbye to the online audience now. So everyone say goodbye. Bye. There is an amazing worship set for you online. You can go ahead and do the practice like we are, and then flip on your own worship set at home. And we will see you, online audience, next week. If you are in the room.